Here's an uncomfortable truth. You may already know enough English to have real conversations, and learning more English may actually be stopping you from becoming fluent.
If you know hundreds of words but still freeze when someone speaks to you, your problem isn't a lack of English. Your English is simply trapped inside your head.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You can read this entire article without even touching a dictionary.
Yeah, exactly.
You have this massive vocabulary when it comes to reading or listening. But, the second someone actually asks you a question in real life, it's just total silence.
Right, the blank stare.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So today, we're going to fix that. Our mission for this deep dive is to show you how to take the simple, basic English you already possess and turn it into real, natural conversation.
Without needing a textbook.
Yes. You don't need complicated grammar rules.
Yep.
You don't need to swallow a thesaurus. And you definitely don't need another giant list of vocabulary words.
No, please, no more lists.
Right. So we are going to walk through 3 specific, highly practical techniques designed to help you speak longer, respond faster, and, finally feel confident when you're put on the spot.
Because the underlying issue for most learners isn't a lack of knowledge. I mean, it's a fundamental misunderstanding of what fluency actually looks like in practice.
Huh. What do you mean by that?
Well, there is this incredibly common phenomenon that we can call the fluency illusion. It's the trap of equating fluency with complexity.
Oh.
Yeah, we assume that to sound native or, just to sound competent, we have to construct these highly advanced, sophisticated sentences with flawless grammar.
Right? It's like the paralysis of the perfect sentence. Let's look at how this plays out in reality. Think about the most common small talk question on the planet. What did you do last weekend?
Oh, yeah, the Monday morning classic.
Exactly. It happens in offices all over the world. And if you are caught in this fluency illusion, your brain just immediately goes into overdrive.
It does. You hear the question, and instead of just answering it, you start negotiating with yourself.
You think, well, I can't just say I stayed home. That sounds way too basic.
Right, I sound like a beginner.
Exactly. So you think, I need a word like productive or maybe memorable or exhausting.
And this is where the cognitive overload happens. Your brain's working memory has a strict limit on how many variables it can juggle at once, right?
Oh, sure.
So while one part of your brain is frantically searching through your mental filing cabinet for a high-level word like exhausting,
Another part is panicking about the grammar.
yes, you're suddenly asking yourself, wait, is this supposed to be simple past, present perfect? Do I use was or have been?
And while your brain is running all these intense calculations, what's actually happening in the real world?
Nothing.
Literally nothing.
Hmm.
You've stopped speaking entirely, the silence stretches out, the adrenaline spikes, and you just freeze.
Which is so frustrating because you have all the pieces.
Right. You have the pieces, but because you're trying to build this absolute masterpiece of a sentence in your head, nothing comes out.
It really reminds me of trying to build a complex multi-story mansion on the spot when all the other person actually needs is a sturdy chair to sit on.
Oh, I love that. The mansion versus the chair.
Yeah, like you have the wood, you have the nails, but because you're obsessed with the architecture of a mansion, you end up handing them empty air.
That is the exact right way to visualize this. The person asking about your weekend, they don't care about your mastery of the present perfect continuous tense.
No, they really don't.
They just want to connect. They just want to sit down in the conversation. So the fundamental mindset shift here is accepting that a simple sentence, spoken clearly, is infinitely better than a brilliant sentence that never leaves your head.
100%.
Fluency is entirely about using the English you already know smoothly. So instead of asking, what new complicated words should I learn today? The better question is, what more can I do with the basic words I already have? So, okay, the goal is delivering the sturdy chair. We want to maximize those simple words. But if we strip away the complex vocabulary, how do we actually keep a conversation going?
Right. How do you not just sound blunt?
Yeah. How do we avoid giving one-word answers and killing the vibe without freezing up? That brings us to the first technique, the answer ladder.
The answer ladder is so powerful. It's a systematic way to take a very simple basic sentence and push it one step further by, adding specific layers.
Like a formula.
Exactly. It gives you a reliable structure so your brain isn't just randomly guessing what to say next. It completely removes the panic of the blank slate.
So what are the steps?
The formula has 4 steps: an answer, a reason, a detail, and a personal reaction or contrast.
Okay, let's run that exact same Monday morning weekend question through this ladder to see how it feels.
Sure, let's do it.
So someone asks, what did you do last weekend? Step 1 is just the basic answer. I stayed home.
Now that is completely grammatically correct, and it is a sturdy chair.
But if you just stop there, it's a bit of a dead end, right? The other person doesn't have much to work with.
Exactly. It's a closed door. So we move to step 2, adding a reason. You say, I stayed home because I was tired.
Okay, instantly the sentence is better. You've given the listener a tiny window into your state of mind.
But we can flesh it out even more. Step 3 is adding a detail. I stayed home because I was tired, so I watched a movie.
Ah, now we actually have a picture of your evening. We can see you on the couch.
And finally, step 4, we cap it off with a personal reaction. I stayed home because I was tired, so I watched a movie. It wasn't exciting, but it helped me relax.
Wow. Look at the cadence of that final sequence. I mean, it flows beautifully.
It does. It sounds completely natural, like something any native speaker would say without a second thought.
But if you put that sentence under a microscope, it is entirely beginner-level English. Words like home, tired, movie, relax.
There is absolutely no advanced jargon in there.
None. What creates that feeling of fluency isn't the rarity of the words at all. It's the connection of the ideas.
Yes, you're giving the listener multiple hooks to grab onto.
Right, they can respond to the fact that you were tired or, ask what movie you watched or agree that a boring night is great for relaxing.
Let's try this with another classic beginner statement just to see the mechanics in action.
Okay, what's the statement?
Let's take, I like coffee.
A true classic. So, Step 1, the answer. I like coffee.
Step 2, the reason. I like coffee because it helps me wake up.
Nice. Step 3, the detail. I usually drink it in the morning before work.
And step 4, the personal contrast. I like coffee because it helps me wake up. I usually drink it before work, but I try not to drink it at night.
Again, completely basic words, but a fully fleshed out conversational thought. But I do have to ask, from a learner's perspective,
Go ahead.
if I am in the middle of a spontaneous chat at a coffee shop and I'm actively thinking, okay, execute step 2, insert reason, now execute step 3, insert detail, isn't that going to make me sound completely robotic?
Oh, absolutely. Like you're reading a script behind your eyes.
Ex-
But that is a misunderstanding of how the answer ladder is supposed to be used. You don't use this as a rigid script in real time.
Okay, so how do I use it?
You use it as training wheels for your brain during practice. By practicing this formula deliberately when you are studying alone, you are physically carving new neural pathways.
Oh, I see.
You are training your brain's default setting to naturally expand on simple thoughts. Over time, you just don't think about the 4 steps anymore.
Your brain just gets used to offering a detail or reaction automatically.
Yes, you build a subconscious habit of elaboration.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You use the training wheels in the driveway so you don't fall over, and eventually the balance just becomes muscle memory.
Exactly.
Okay, so the answer ladder gives us length and depth, which is fantastic if we are already speaking. But what about the sheer panic of starting a completely new sentence from scratch?
That's the scariest part for most people.
Right, because learners usually freeze up because they try to translate word for word from their native language. How do we bypass that mental translation process entirely?
That is the perfect setup for technique 2, which is utilizing flexible sentence frames.
Flexible sentence frames.
Yeah. The core concept here is that you need to stop memorizing isolated, single-use sentences and instead practice reusable structural frameworks.
I look at this a lot like packing for an international trip. Memorizing single-use sentences is like buying a brand new, highly specific power plug for every single country you might ever visit.
Which is exhausting.
Totally. It takes up a massive amount of luggage space, it's expensive in terms of memory, and you have to dig around searching for the exact right one every time you want to charge your phone.
That's a great analogy.
But a sentence frame is like a universal power adapter. You just carry one underlying structure, and it powers dozens of different ideas, no matter what conversational country you find yourself in.
The universal adapter is exactly right. When we look at how the brain processes a second language, the slowest, most glucose-draining cognitive process is word-for-word translation.
It's so tiring.
It is. If you think in your native language, find the English equivalent for word 1, then word 2, then try to apply a grammar rule.
Hey!
You're exhausted before you speak.
Right.
Sentence frames allow you to completely bypass that translation process. The grammatical structure, the heavy lifting, is pre-packaged as a single chunk of information in your brain.
Let's look at one of these universal adapters in action. Take the frame. I usually blank, but today blank.
Okay, perfect frame.
If you internalize that one structure, look at how much ground you can cover just by swapping out the most basic vocabulary. You can say, I usually cook at home, but today I'm eating out.
Or, I usually study at night, but today I'm studying in the morning.
Or, I usually eat the bus, but today I'm walking.
Notice what is happening there. You are changing the variables based on your life. But the complex part, the structure that indicates a break in your normal routine, is already handled for you.
You don't even have to think about it.
Nope. You grab the pre-built frame off the shelf, drop in a couple of simple action verbs, and you are speaking at normal native speed. Here is another highly versatile frame. I want to blank because blank.
So simple, but so effective. I want to improve my English because I want to travel.
I want to exercise more because I want to feel healthier.
I want to change jobs because I need a new challenge. It's like having the foundation of the house already poured and dried. You just get to show up and paint the walls whatever color you want.
And because you aren't spending all your mental energy pouring that foundation every single time you open your mouth, you actually have the cognitive bandwidth left over to listen to the other person.
Which is the whole point of talking to someone in the first place.
Okay, exactly.
All right, so we have length and elaboration with the answer ladder. We have speed and structure with the flexible frames. But we have to talk about the absolute biggest trap for language learners.
I know where this is going.
The thing that causes the most anxiety. Grammar.
Specifically, navigating through time. The past, present, and future tenses. I mean, I know people who've spent hundreds of hours doing grammar worksheets, filling in the blanks, and they still completely freeze when they have to actually use a past tense verb in a live conversation.
And that leads directly into technique 3, moving one idea through time.
Moving one idea through time.
Yes. The core insight here is that filling out worksheets doesn't translate to spoken fluency. You have to practice grammar practically, out loud, and in a way that manages your brain's cognitive load.
But wait, if I am practicing my tenses out loud, my instinct is to use different scenarios to make it realistic.
What do you mean?
Like if I want to practice the past tense, I'll try talking about a childhood vacation. And then for the future tense, I'll switch to talking about my career goals for the next 5 years. Are you saying that's the wrong approach?
That is exactly why you and so many learners feel overwhelmed. It comes back to cognitive load theory.
Okay, tell me more about that. When you try to invent a story about your childhood and then invent a completely different story about your career, you are using a massive amount of mental energy just deciding what to say.
Oh, I'm playing director, casting agent, and scriptwriter all at once.
Exactly. By the time you actually get around to figuring out the grammar, the how to say it, your brain is already maxed out. Moving one idea through time solves this by locking the topic in place. You use the exact same scenario for all 3 tenses.
Oh, wow. So you remove the friction of creativity so you can focus entirely on mechanics.
Precisely. Let's test this out. Let's take a single basic core idea. Studying English. Let's put it in the present tense first.
Okay. I study English at night.
Perfect. Now, you force that exact same idea into the past tense.
I studied English last night.
And now the future.
I'm going to study English tonight.
Oh, I see. Same exact idea, 3 different time zones. I didn't have to invent a new story, I just had to shift the gears on the verb. Now let's layer this. Let's combine technique 3 with technique 1, the answer ladder, and make each time zone slightly longer by adding a reason or detail. In the present. I usually study English at night because my house is quiet.
Moving to the past. I studied English last night, but I was too tired to concentrate.
And the future? I'm going to study English tonight, and I'll practice speaking for 20 minutes.
I can actually feel how much less stressful that is because I already know the characters and the plot. Me studying at night, I am putting 100% of my focus into the structural shift of the grammar.
Exactly. You are running that single idea back and forth through time until the shift feels automatic in your mouth, not just on a piece of paper.
And that physical feeling in your mouth is crucial, isn't it?
It really is. Language is ultimately a physical act. You are training the muscles of articulation to get used to producing those sounds in that specific order.
So what does this all mean when we put it together in the wild? We have the answer ladder, the flexible frames, and time travel for a single idea. What does a conversation using only these simple tools actually sound like?
Well, There's an example we reviewed of a totally natural, sustained conversation built entirely on basic English.
Oh, right, the pasta conversation. It's just a casual chat between two people about what they do after work,
Yeah.
and it eventually shifts to cooking pasta.
Yes. It perfectly illustrates how basic words, combined with details and follow-up questions, can sustain a long, highly engaging chat. One person simply asks what the other cooked recently.
And the response is structurally so simple. I tried to make pasta last weekend. It tasted okay, but I made far too much.
And because they used the answer ladder, they didn't just say, I made pasta, they added the detail about making too much. It hands the other person a perfect hook for a follow-up question.
Right, the other person naturally asks, what did you do with all the extra food? And the response is, I ate pasta for 3 days.
It's a completely mundane, everyday interaction, but it flows effortlessly. If you look at the actual transcript of that chat, there isn't a single advanced vocabulary word to be found.
That's incredible.
The fluency doesn't come from proving how many words you know. It comes from keeping the ideas moving back and forth. Fluency is a rally in tennis. It's just about getting the ball back over the net in a way the other person can return.
Which brings us to the ultimate question for anyone listening. How do you actually implement this into your busy life without feeling like you're taking on a part-time job?
Great question.
To make this actionable, there is a highly structured 5-minute daily routine you can use to tie all these concepts together. Just 5 minutes a day.
The brevity is what makes it sustainable, but because it's only 5 minutes, the practice has to be highly targeted.
So how does it work?
Here is exactly how you break down the routine. First, you choose one highly familiar topic before you start the clock. It could be your favorite food, your current job, your weekend plans, or a hobby.
Okay, once you have your topic, minute 1 begins. For the first 60 seconds, you speak out loud about that topic using only simple, basic sentences.
And the golden rule for minute 1 is that you do not stop to correct your mistakes. You must override your internal editor.
Oh, that's hard.
It is, but that perfectionism filter is what causes the stuttering and the freezing. For 1 minute, you just get the words out no matter how messy they are.
Then you move to minute 2. You take those exact same simple ideas you just spoke about, but now you apply the answer ladder. You consciously add your reasons and your specific details to expand those sentences.
And minute 3 is where we bend time. You take one core idea from your topic and you explicitly move it through the past, present, and future out loud, just like we did with studying English.
Minute 4 is about anticipation. You imagine the person you were talking to asks you 2 follow-up questions based on what you've just said.
Right, you have to invent those questions and then you answer both of them aloud. This trains your brain to expect the back and forth of a real dialogue.
And finally, minute 5, synthesis. You speak about the topic one more time, from the very beginning, putting everything you just practiced together.
And you'll notice a massive difference.
Yes, what absolutely fascinates me about this structure is the psychological win it guarantees. By minute 5, your version of the story is going to be undeniably smoother, richer, and more complete than it was in minute 1.
Exactly. As a learner, you don't have to wait 6 months to see if you're improving. You get to experience an immediate, tangible sense of progress in just 5 minutes. You literally hear yourself getting better in real time.
That immediate feedback loop is highly motivating. But we do need to address a major mental hurdle that many adult learners struggle with when doing this routine.
The stigma around repetition.
Yes. Many people feel that if they are repeating the same topic about their job or their weekend every single day, they aren't truly learning. They feel like repetition is a failure to absorb new information.
Right, the instinct is always, I already know how to say I like coffee. I shouldn't waste time on that. I should be learning the advanced medical terminology for caffeine absorption.
Exactly. We confuse novelty with progress.
But from a neurological standpoint, that is a fundamental misunderstanding of how language acquisition works. Repetition is not a lack of progress. Repetition is the precise biological mechanism by which passive, trapped English transforms into active, spoken English.
That makes a lot of sense.
Think of it like walking through a dense forest. The first time you walk a path, it's difficult, right? You have to push branches out of the way.
Yeah.
But the 100th time you walk that exact same path, it's a clear, fast trail. By repeating these simple structures, you are carving the neural pathways deeper and deeper until the language is automatic. You aren't failing to learn something new, you are mastering what you already know.
Okay, we promised an actionable speaking challenge, something you can do the absolute second this deep dive finishes.
Yes, right now.
So wherever you are listening to this, here is your challenge. The topic is something you enjoy doing in your free time.
Here is how you execute it. Step 1. Form one simple, basic sentence about what you enjoy.
Step 2. Add a reason why you enjoy it.
Step 3. Add a specific detail or an example to paint a picture.
And step 4. Imagine the person you were talking to and ask them a related question to pass the ball back over the net.
Answer, reason, detail, question. If you do that, you have just initiated a real dynamic conversation using the simple English you already possess.
Looking at all these techniques, the ladders, the frames, the constraints, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. We've been analyzing this entirely as a tool for language learners trying to survive in a second language.
Right.
But what if this constraint-based practice actually makes you a fundamentally more effective communicator overall, even in your native language?
Oh, that is a fascinating perspective. How so?
Well, think about how often native speakers hide behind complex jargon, corporate buzzwords, or, rambling paragraph-long sentences when they aren't actually sure what they want to say. We use complexity as a shield.
We definitely do.
By forcing yourself to focus on clarity, by relying on solid structure and simple words, by knowing how to build a sturdy chair instead of a confusing half-finished mansion, you might just make yourself a better, more engaging conversationalist in any language.
It truly is universally attractive. People love talking to someone who is easy to understand.
They really do. The message to take away is clear. Stop waiting until you magically know more English to start living your life in English.
Start using the English that is already inside your head today.
If this deep dive sparked an aha moment for you, and if you're listening on a platform that allows it, drop your own answer ladder in the comments. We'd love to see what kind of sturdy chairs you build with the words you already have. Until next time, keep it simple and keep talking.